I am Shireen Rahman. I'm the Director of International Internship Program. I will have my colleagues and the panelists introduce themselves. And just to let you know, please feel free to write in your questions and we'll be happy to take them at the end of the presentation. And we will also share a recording of the presentation over email. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Sina Hill. I'm the department manager in French and Italian.
Good morning. My name is Christine Sagnier. I'm the director of the French language program.
Hello, my name is Muriel Perrier and I'm the associate director of the French language program.
I think we can get started. Christine, feel free to take it away.
Okay, so good morning, welcome, and thank you for attending this information session. We are delighted to have you here. So Muriel Perrier and I have been teaching the Aix-en-Provence program for many years. And in the summer of 2020, we had to cancel the program because of COVID-19. So for 2021, given the uncertainty of the situation, our choice was either to cancel or to reinvent the program completely. So this is what we've done, and we have a new template for the course. So Sina, can you, next slide, yes. So we have a completely new template for the virtual program, and this year, in 2021, 207F will be offered remotely from June 7th, 2021 to July 2nd, 2021. And Princeton in France internship will run remotely from July 5th, 2021 to July 30th, 2021. Next slide, please. So 207F will be offered entirely via Zoom and Canvas. Next slide. It will be an intensive Princeton summer course program designed to truly boost your French, and you will have classes and cultural activities 5 days a week. So I'm not going to give too many details because we have many other things to tell you, but the main components of the course are the same as what we normally do, except in a remote version. So there will be an introduction to journalistic writing. You will learn to interview French people in their own workplace and produce your own articles. You will also be discussing current affairs. We will, of course, offer you grammar review. We would not want you to do without grammar, but it will be grammar in context. And on top of this, you will also be doing some collaboration projects with your peers. But that's not all. And Muriel is going to give you more information about the rest.
Sorry. Okay, so you will discover some local realities, which means, next slide, please. You will have cultural exchanges and do project-based learning, which means that all the cultural activities will be based on what we have in X, and you will interview local people over there and work on art and artistic venues, and all those classes will be led by local professors. Next slide, please. Basically, it will be an intensive program, but we know that you already know what is intensive in Princeton. So, but this intensive program will allow you to learn how to communicate in French and build a learning community and connect with your peers. You will develop transferable skills because the program will allow you to gain confidence. You'll learn how to communicate and have to solve problems. And last but not least, to develop critical thinking as well. Next slide, please. Shireen.
Oh, yes. So one of the interesting things and yes, I'm unmuted. The fun aspect of doing a 207F is you also have an opportunity to do an internship. We will go over that in the next slide, but I wanted to let you know that the application is open now and the deadline is today. Sorry, the application is open today. The deadline is January 15th, and you'll have an opportunity to be interviewed by Muriel and Christine. We'll go over that and more details at the end of the presentation. Next slide, please. So in order to be considered for the Princeton in France internship, what we ask you to do is make sure that you review the brochure carefully to read the descriptions of the internships that are being offered in collaboration with our partner, Institute for American Universities. Once you have reviewed the programs that are available through our office, you can complete the GPS application and indicate your interest for the 3 programs that you would like to be considered for. When you complete the information, you also need to update the cover letter and resume that you have on file. If you already have something that you're ready to move forward with, please go ahead and upload those in GPS. You can also meet with the Center for Career Development if you need more assistance and guidance on how to finesse your cover letter and your resume. When you have been selected by Christine and Muriel for the 207F program, we will receive the final list of students from them, and we will introduce you to our partner IAU and Professor Pascal Chef, who will interview with you and make sure that we are able to consider you for the opportunities that are offered as in the internship program. All students who are selected in the program will receive a financial aid award, from our office, and we will determine the information, the amount, and send you the information in a later time. Thank you. We have Gisela here if there are any questions about the program, and the course fees will be announced very shortly. So please keep a lookout for any emails. Students will also have an opportunity to apply through the Dean's Fund for Study Abroad. I think, yes. So if there are any questions, please go ahead and type them in, or feel free to let us know and we can unmute you if you prefer to ask the question in the room. Christine, Muriel, do you want to go over the next few, what to do next?
Okay, so what to do next? If you're interested in the program, of course, apply through GPS. Remember that applications will open up today, and the deadline is January 15th, 2021. Then you want to schedule an interview through Waze with either Muriel or I. We will be opening the slots very soon. The interviews will take place between January the 4th and January the 8th, sorry. And the decision for 207F will be by the end of January. This is because we have to make sure that we give enough time to our partners for the internship component. And so once you've been accepted, then you can continue with the IIP application for the Princeton in France internships. So I think now we can take questions if there are any. I will mute myself.
I have a few questions, so I'll ask these questions and we can go ahead and answer them live. The first question is, I believe the IIP application deadline was December 7th. Is it too late to apply for the 207F internship? No, it is not. The 207F internship, which is the Princeton in France internship, has a different timeline than the IIP application. So you have to first apply for the 207F program. And if you're selected for that program, you will be considered for the Princeton in France internship. So the deadline is basically January 15th for making sure you apply to both programs. What time will the course meet on a daily basis? Christine, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, we're still working on a template because of course we'll be working with the local professors as well. So probably it will be early morning meaning 9:30, the usual time, and you will have activities throughout the day.
Any other questions? I know that we sometimes get questions from students about which internship they should apply to. So what I would suggest is that when you review the information on the brochure, we actually have all of the programs listed. As Christine mentioned, we are encouraging students to only consider the remote programs because the likelihood of anything happening in country is almost zero. So please make sure that you're reviewing the information carefully, look at the job descriptions, make sure you understand what the skills are required of the internship, and then the language level fluency, which is something that Christine and Muhiel will also determine. And you will have an opportunity to meet with Professor Pascal Schaff, who will decide which program would be the best fit for you given your fluency. We have another question. What should I highlight on my resume to be a good candidate for the internship? Look at the organization, look at the work that they do, make sure that you have a full understanding of the scope of work that the intern would be required to be doing. And again, when you meet with IAU, you will also have an opportunity to ask them questions about, because they are trying to find the best fit for you in terms of your academic background, your level of fluency, and your skills for the specific job that you're applying to. Where can I find interview tips? We will be sharing links with our students about preparing for an interview, and please feel free to reach out to the Center for Career Development. That's on the internship component. If there are any tips that Christine or Muhiel you want to share for preparing for the interview with you, please feel free to do that.
Muriel, do you want to answer, or do you want me to? You're on mute.
Yes, yes, we will be when we will be conducting all the interviews, and depending on what you choose, we can actually help you out, and you can reach out actually and give you tips actually about how to write a cover letter and all the skills that you need. So we can work, I mean, because all the resume will be different from one student to the next, so we can work with different students depending on what they want, and yes, work with you actually. Once we do the interview, we'll be able to give you more information, and my recommendation is to look at all the different jobs that you want to be and then rank them, and then we can go through that once we do the interview and give you more guidance and recommendations.
What are my chances at being selected? That's another question.
That's a hard one to answer because we don't know anything about what you've done and what your interests are. But my recommendation will be apply. You're not going to know anything until you've applied, and then try your best, prepare yourself. Maybe just make sure you keep your French up during the vacation, because the interviews will be in early January, and that's it. That's all I can give you as a piece of advice right now, I think.
And in addition to that, I would also suggest, like, if you haven't familiarized yourself with GPS, make sure you take your time to complete the application. There is going to be letters of recommendation that would be, or recommendation forms, right? Yeah, so just make sure that you pay attention to all of the information that is required in GPS. And it does take a little bit of time to prepare. There is going to be a writing sample in French that is required. So make sure that you take some time to prepare for the application before the deadline. Again, we know that you're getting done with the semester and preparing for the holidays. Just make sure that you take a little bit of time. Question: who would be the best recommenders?
Well, certainly for 207F, your French instructors. And Princeton French instructors, preferably. If you haven't taken a course with us, we will take a recommendation from the director of studies, for example. So just email us if you have any questions, if you really can't have a recommendation from a Princeton instructor. But that's the best, and that's the quickest way of obtaining a recommendation.
Will the students have an opportunity to sign up for an interview before January 15th?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, of course. We will, Muriel and I still have to split the tasks between ourselves, but we will open up slots. You will be able to go into Waze and see what slots are available. We're going to make sure we cover different time slots so that everybody in every time zone gets a chance to sign up for an interview. And if you have any difficulties, again, you can email us and let us know. But yes, of course, the interviews will actually take place before January 15th. So bear that in mind.
Will students have an opportunity to intern for more than 4 weeks after the, during the Princeton in France internship? I think I can take that question. No, so the Princeton in France and the FRA 27F is a combined program. So the students are going through a 4-week academic component first, followed by a 4-week internship. And usually we also, another reason why we also don't want students going beyond the 4-week internship is because a lot of people take time off in August. That is the prime vacation time in Europe. So most likely your employers and co-workers may not be available in the same capacity that they would be in during June and July. How do students receive funding? So I will just talk a little bit about the Princeton in France component, and then Gisela is here and she can talk a little bit more about the funding. So for the Princeton in France portion of the program, you will receive funding directly through SAFE. We have an amount that we are going to be providing for all students who are doing an 8-week internship. And for students in Princeton in France, that will be prorated to the 4-week amount. And then Gisela, would you mind answering a little bit more about the other aspects of funding?
Sure. For the language course, there is going to be funding available through, I would say mostly through the Dean's Fund via SAFE. There may be other funders in SAFE. For those of you who are familiar with SAFE, which is the repository of all the funding opportunities. But the Study Abroad program manages the Dean's Fund for summer study. And so you can apply in SAFE. We're planning to open the applications either immediately before the break or immediately after. But at the very latest, on January 4th, you'll be able to submit your SAFE application for the Dean's Fund. Normally, that funding goes to students who are already on financial aid at Princeton. So if you are already during the academic year on financial aid, you will qualify for the Dean's Fund funding. And the funding will be in proportion to your level of aid. So again, if you are in full aid, your Dean's Fund summer funding will be higher, etc. So we want to make sure that also students with a high level of need can afford this program. We are going to have 3 deadlines for the Dean's Fund. The first one will be February 7th. So from January 4th through February 7th, you can submit your application. So if you submit it on January 4th, it's even better because that way we receive it and we can start reviewing it. But this way we align very well with the application deadline for the program itself. So by the time that you're offered a spot for the program, you will already know how much money you're going to be receiving for the language component of the program. And at that point, you can make your final decision on whether you can participate.
Gisela, I have a follow-up question. Is SAFE funding competitive?
we really try to accommodate everybody. So again, the Dean's Fund, SAFE is the larger repository of all the funding opportunities, but for the Dean's Fund, which is one of those opportunities in SAFE, we really try to make funding as equitable and as like diffused as possible. So please just apply as soon as you can. But normally we don't finish up all our funding during the first couple of cycles. So don't worry, and we'll make everything possible to make this opportunity available to everybody. It's a strong commitment from the university.
And then my favorite question, are there any chances that we may travel? Whoever wants to take this. Christine?
I think maybe Gisela might be a better person to take that question. Gisela?
Yeah, I mean, I can attempt an answer, but this will depend really on what the Global Safety and Security Unit will advise regarding summer international travel for undergraduate students. As we speak, it's highly unlikely that travel will be happening this summer. But if anything changes, an official notification will probably go out between February and March. So until then, it's really a big question mark. I would advise that you apply under the assumption that there will not be travel this coming summer, but I'm sure that the faculty and the university, if there will be an opportunity maybe for later to do an add-on, will be exploring all the possibilities, but likely not for this summer. Although, as I said, we will know for sure around February, March.
Yes, I can take over from here. Yeah, we've already been thinking about this. Thank you, Gisela. But yes, that's why we decided to offer the program remotely, to make sure that our students would have an educational experience in spite of the situation. And yes, consider that this 2021 experience will be a preparation for something even better to come, when we can all travel and experience the culture and have immersion situations. So we will be changing our offering for the following summer as well, probably offering more advanced courses, so that if you have taken 207 remotely, you will be able to be considered for another program with an immersion component. So that's the best we can tell you right now.
Another question, is the decision to enroll in 207F binding?
Binding? No, you have some time we make you an offer and you have some time to think your way through it, and then either accept our offer or decline. So normally we haven't decided. Normally it's about a week that we give students, Sina. And then afterwards, the administrative component, I don't know if you could answer that, Sina.
I have to look up the deadline. I know the registrar's office, I think we have to let them know the official names by April, but we like to have our turnaround, because if people are going to decline, we'd like to offer it to other students.
Yes, that's normally what we do. We normally have a wait list, so we give you only about a week to either accept or decline. And especially this year, because we are running 207F in much tighter connection with Princeton in France, we're going to have a introduction to business French during the course, and many opportunities for you to strengthen your professional French. We would like to have an answer from you quite rapidly.
Question, what does funding cover if we're remote? I can answer to the Princeton in France internship component, and then I'll open it up for Gisela or Christine if you want to add anything else. So because the students that IIP was able to offer remote internships this past summer, and we really didn't have a sense of how much funding would be necessary for the students to be supported, and also what the donors availability would be in terms of supporting these remote internships. And we've realized that the students have given up summer earnings to be able to do an internship. And this is considered a full-time job for the duration of the time that you will be interning. So in lieu of, not being able to send students abroad and not being able to allow students to do other commitments, we are going to be providing the support that students would need in order to make sure that they are able to responsibly carry out their internship responsibilities. So that's why we've decided to make sure that students receive funding, even if they're working remotely. And do you want to add anything else in terms of the academic aspect of things?
Well, as I said, we encourage you to go for the whole experience if you can. And as far as the academic experience is concerned, we expect the same level of commitment from you as we do in all our Princeton courses. So that's going to be an important part of the experience. It won't be valuable, although it's remote, it won't be valuable unless you're completely engaged in all the projects that we've designed for you and interact with the people in the local communities that we've selected for you. I think, Muriel, do you want to add something?
No, I agree. I mean, it will be, we are expecting, yes, the same level of commitments actually. And yes, and to learn, so like we just said before, is just like, yeah, big commitment. It would be good to have, because we're going to train you as well for the internship while we're doing classes. So yes, the commitment, like having a good commitment is very important to us. On your end, at least, and our end as well.
Will students have an opportunity to travel if they are EU citizens? I can try to answer the question, and then I'm looking a little bit at Gisela to see if you don't mind chiming in. I don't believe so. I think the only exception that would be made is for a student who's currently a French citizen and has permanent residency in France. Those are the only students, because we're not supporting travel at this point. And again, based on the university guidelines, based on any updates from the Global Safety and Security Office, as well as obviously CDC guidelines. If things change, we will certainly keep you posted, but the idea is to offer remote programs. Both the 2U7F and the Princeton in France internship is functioning under the remote capabilities. So what we would encourage you to do is make sure that as you're planning your summer, just plan ahead for being in a remote setting. Gisela, would you like to add anything else?
Yes, I would definitely echo what Shireen was explaining. So this is going to be set up as a remote opportunity. So in taking the course, you could be taking it from a different location, because for personal reasons, you may be in a different country or time zone. Your family may be elsewhere. You may be wanting to join your family. So those are your prerogatives, but we are not sponsoring any form of travel. So I'm not sure if I'm addressing the question, if I'm understanding what the student wanted to ask, but the course is going to be remote. So it's structured as a remote course, and the internships, Shireen explained the kind of the framework for the internship. So again, no form of international travel will be sponsored by the institution. So, but personal travel, again, because this is going to be summer, so some of you who are international students or who simply find themselves in other locations could still take this course, provided you show up in class at the given times. So obviously, if you are in a different time zone, just make sure that you understand that there will be live instruction. So you'll need to show up at given times. But if for personal reasons, and indeed you'll see in the GPS application, we will need to capture where do you plan to be while taking this course. Just because, I mean, again, you could be in any part of the world, and we would like to keep track of who is where, just in case there is an emergency related to the location where you're finding yourself in, right? So knock on wood, you are in a location where during the time of the course or the internship, there is an earthquake or a national calamity or whatever it is. Our safety and security unit would like to be able to capture that, obviously, and assist as best as we can. But we're not in a position to sponsor any international travel.
Thank you, Gisela. And I think this might be our last question. What if you're enrolled in FRA 207 for the upcoming semester?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. You would probably get if we manage to keep to our schedule, and I think we will, Muriel and I are determined to get everything done by the end of January, you will know the answer before the semester starts anyway. You will know if you're accepted in 207F. So your option would be to drop 207. You could enroll in 208, which is a possibility. That doesn't rule out your ability to participate in 207F. So that's, I hope I've answered this question.
Can I add something actually? The add and drop period is right after, I mean, like will be a lot longer this year. I think it's almost like 3 weeks, almost 3.5 weeks. So by mid-January until I think we have 2 weeks after the beginning of the semester. And the other thing is like for 208, they just have, if you're a concentrator, they will have to be careful because they will have to count like those 2 classes. So if they take 207 or 208, it will not count towards a certificate or a major, so they have to know that as well. But I mean,
I think that's all we have for today. Thank you everyone for coming, and thank you Gisela, Christine, and Riel, and obviously Sina for the presentation. And if you have any other follow-up questions, please feel free to send in an email. Is there a common email address that they should be writing to, or where, if there are any questions regarding the application or the program, is there a specific email address that they can use? Sina, is there an email address, or Christine, would you prefer to get these emails directly?
I think Muriel and I will take the questions regarding the academic component directly. Okay. That's easier. And then for the administrative questions, who's in charge, Sina?
I guess you can write me for now at smhill@princeton.edu, and then I can direct you where you need to go at a certain point if it changes.
And also for the internship component, if there are any questions, you can write to iip@princeton.edu. Thank you everyone for coming.